Are you looking for a Christmas angel ornament that will stand out from the crowd and will be the star of the holiday season? If so, you've come to the right place. Here from Bochiknot Macrame. In today's tutorial, I'm super excited to be sharing with you a brand new Christmas angel pattern. I know it's only the beginning of October, but it's never too early to start preparing for the holiday season. And of course, if you're looking for stunning, easy to follow patterns, then we've always got you covered. This angel ornament uses an easy vertical lark's head knot pattern to make. All you have to do is form these vertical lark's head knot loops in various sizes to form the wings of the angel. I can't wait to show you guys how it's done, and with that said, let's jump right in. So for this angel pattern, of course, you will need some macrame cord, and I'll be using our 3mm single strand cord from our foundation cord line. This is probably my favorite cord to use because it's natural organic cotton, so it is super soft to the touch, but it also stays nice and sturdy, which is hard to find when it comes to single strand macrame cord. When using this cord, you'll make nice neat knots with ease. Other than cord, you will also need a 2-inch wooden ring. I think this is slightly less than 2 inches, but it's almost there. And this large hole bead. Now this large hole bead is approximately 20mm with a 10mm hole. Now you don't have to have that big of a bead if you're using 3mm cord. You'll need at least a 6mm hole to fit 2 strands of 3mm cord through, but this is the bead I'll be using for this angel. I'll be using a macrame board to make this angel. If you don't have one, you don't need it. You can just make your angel on a stable surface like a table and mount your ring down with some tape. To begin, we are going to take a 90cm strand of cord, and we're going to use a measuring tape to measure one end to approximately 15 centimeters. Then we're going to hold that part folded over into a loop and ensure that the right end is the shorter end, the 15cm long end, and then the left end is the longer end. Then we're going to take this loop underneath the ring. We're going to make a reverse lark's head knot. So bring the cord ends through to tighten. Now after making the reverse lark's head knot, we just want to make sure that the short end is still 15 centimeters long. And it's slightly shorter because we used up some of it for the reverse lark's head knot. So I'm just going to loosen it up a bit and then pull on the right end so that it is a little bit longer. Then I'm going to remeasure so that we're at 15 centimeters. So we still have a little bit more to go. So now we're at 15 centimeters. Okay, so the wing pattern is going to be the same pattern throughout on both sides, except we are going to make the biggest part of the wing right now, and then with every pattern we make afterwards, they're going to be slightly smaller. So it's just going to be a few less vertical lark's head knots. So to begin, the short end is going to be the anchor cord, the left end is going to be the working cord. We take the working cord underneath. We're going to start our first vertical lark's head knot. So bring it over through the right, then tighten. then bring it underneath through the right and tighten. And then we're going to keep repeating. Over, through the right, tighten. Under, through the right, tighten. And I'm just going to make a few more. We're now going to repeat this until we have a total of 12 vertical arc set knots. So we've already made 4, we're going to make 8 more underneath. Once we're done all 12 vertical arc set knots, you should have about 2 inches of string left over on both ends. So we have our 12 vertical arc set knots. Now I'm going to just pull on the anchor cord slightly just to shift them together, to get rid of some space or gaps. It doesn't have to be super tight, but it should be nice and snug. And then we're going to fold it over like so, and then we're going to secure this little part of the wing by taking the anchor cord end. We're going to wrap it around right at the beginning and then bring it to the back, then use the other end. We're going to tie a double overhand knot. And we are now complete with the first part of the wing. Now we're going to make slightly smaller sections underneath. So next up, we're going to need a 75 centimeter long cord. This time with the 75 centimeter long cord, we're going to make sure that the shorter end, once attached, is going to be 12 centimeters in length. So I'm going to just guess where that 12 centimeter is, and then I'm just going to take that loop underneath. For a reverse lark's knot, we have to adjust it anyways. So I'm going to measure it. We're actually pretty bang on at 12 centimeters in length, so no adjustment is needed for this. Now, before we start on the vertical lark's knots, I'm just going to loosen up this lark's knot that we had just made. We're going to take the cords from the section above, and we're just going to pull them inside the loop. We're just going to tuck them in. Once you have tucked them in, we're going to retighten the reverse lark setup, like so. Okay, so now we are ready to begin this next section. So same pattern, but this time we're going to make 2 less vertical arc set knots. So instead of 12 vertical arc set knots, we're going to make 10. So with the left cord as a working cord, make a vertical lark's head knot. So take the cord over through the right, under through the right, and then repeat until you have a total of 10. Okay, again, once we are done, I'm just going to pull on the anchor cord a little bit to shift the knots together so that they're even and they're neat. Then we're going to fold it over again. Take the anchor cord end through the front, side, and to the back. And then with the other end, we're going to tie a double overhand knot. Now, if you are using a different brand of 3mm cord, or if you're using a thicker cord, you may need to add a bit more cord lengths to the suggested cord lengths that I'm using for this pattern so that you can make the same number of knots. Okay, so now what we're going to do is with the excess cords that we had tucked in underneath that second section, we're going to snip off the excess. And then now we're going to include these excess for the next loop we make underneath. This time we're going to be using a 65 centimeter long cord. So using a 65 centimeter long cord, we're going to only need 10 centimeters of length on the shorter end. So ensuring that we make the reverse larsa knot with those two ends from the previous loop tucked in, we're going to tighten it with them inside. Now, I'm just going to measure it to make sure it's a little bit shorter, so loosen it up. Before I fully tighten, I'm just going to measure it one more time. And it's perfect. So there you have it. Our third section is now added. Now, the first section we had 12 vertical larsa knots, second section 10. So this time we're going to make 8. So start off with a vertical larsa knot, then make 7 more. So similar to the other two sections, bring this cord around and tie a double overhand knot at the back. Once done, if you haven't already, we're going to trim off the excess from the previous section. And then we're going to include the cords from the section we had just added, tucked into our final section. So with the final section, we are going to need 8 centimeters on the right shorter end. And we are using a 55 centimeter long cord. So just measuring this one more time. So we're just slightly over. I think that's good. And now we are going to make a total of 6 vertical larsa knots here. Last but not least, shift the knots together, then bring the cord around to the back side for our final double overhand knot. Okay, I'm just going to snip off the excess from the section before. And then now we are going to repeat the same pattern on the left side, mirroring what we just did on the right. So starting with a 90 centimeter long cord again, this time we need the left end to be 15 centimeters long. Okay, so now that we have our left end here as the 15 centimeter end, the right end is the long end. Take the long end underneath and over, and we're going to bring it over and through the left, tighten, under through the left to tighten. tighten, over through the left to tighten, under through the left to tighten. And we're going to make a total of 12 vertical larceny knots. Once done, our 12, shift them together a little bit. Then we're going to fold it over, bring the anchor cord end through the front to the back for a double overhand knot. Then we're going to include these ends in the next vertical larceny knot. So next up, we're going to be using a 75 centimeter long cord with a 12 centimeter shorter end. Okay, once attached, left end is 12 centimeters. We're now going to make 10 consecutive vertical larceny knots. Bring this cord back and then tie a double overhand knot. Once done, this is what it should look like at the back. I've also cut off the excess cord ends from the previous section, and now we are ready to add our 65 centimeter long cord with a 10 centimeter shorter end. And then here we are going to make a total of 8 vertical larceny knots. So over through the left, under through the left. Again, take the cord end over to the back and tie a double overhand knot. It's done. If there are any excess ends from the previous section, I'm going to snip those off. And then lastly, we are going to attach our 55 centimeter long cord, and we're going to leave a 8 to 9 centimeter shorter length. Okay, we have our 9 centimeter end. I had a little bit more than 8 centimeters on the other side, and it was just a tad bit short, so I think 9 centimeters would be perfect. And so we're gonna bring the right end over to the left for a vertical larceny knot, and then we're going to make 5 more. Last but not least, clean up the final loop section here, bring it around, tie a double overhand knot, and then snip off the excess. Once done, this is what the pattern should look like. We should have little loops from large to small, and you should only have cord sticking out from the bottom. We're just going to cut off the excess there, as close to the double overhand knot. Now, if you think the knots are going to come undone fairly easily, then you can dab a bit of glue at the ends of the double overhand knot so that they don't come undone super easily. And then now we will attach our bead to the top of the ring. To do that, we need a 30 centimeter strand of cord. We're going to fold it in half and make a reverse larceny knot at the top of the ring, then thread the bead through, and then tie an overhand knot at the top. Tie it as close to the top as possible. So we're just going to slide it, and then we have a little bit left that's uneven, so I'm just gonna snip it off. And this is what it looks like so far. And then last but not least, we're going to add some fringe. So what we have here is 10 strands of 30 centimeter long cords. We're going to separate them into 5 strands each, and we're going to comb through all of the strands. So make sure it's combed all the way through. Make sure that both sections are combed through, and then we'll come back once that's done. So once both sections are combed through, this is what they should look like. And then now, sliding the bead up, we're going to place one section on the left side, then bring the end through the middle so that they're both at the front. Do the same thing with the other bundle. Bring it through, bring the back bundle through to the top. And then now we have to make sure that at the front, it looks like the two sections are blended in the middle. So we do want to try and comb them together in the front. And it would help to also comb through the back as well. And then make sure once it's combed through, we hold this section together tightly. And then we're going to use a 25 centimeter long cord for a gathering knot. So make a loop, take the long end, wrap it around a few times, making sure that's nice and tight. Then bring the end through the loop. And then pull on the top end. To tighten the gathering knot. And once through, we can cut off the excess cord. And then make sure that's still nice and tight. If there's any excess cord ends at the bottom, we're gonna snip that off too. Okay, now we're gonna split this in half, front and back. Take that back half and push it behind the ring. And then bring all the fringe down, comb through them again, front and back. And then we're gonna trim the ends. And this is what the angel looks like. And now it is complete. This is a special one not only because it is an angel pattern, but because I use some of my signature knotting techniques to make the wings of this angel. And so if you guys are interested in learning more unique, intricate knotting techniques with me, I do have more exclusive macrame tutorials over on our Bochiknot macrame community on Patreon. If you're interested, head on over to patreon.com/Bochiknot for more details. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comment section below. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.